Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we have the awesome Jacob with us. Hi, Jacob. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Jacob. I am from Seattle, Washington. And what do I do? So right now I'm a full-time artist. So my artist name is J.Henry. And it's been coined crooner hip hop because it's hip hop music with the musicality of Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, a little Vivaldi, all these different influences. Um, and yeah, and then my air quotes professional role was in data science, machine learning stuff in the tech world. I was a tech bro, recovering tech bro, you could say. Yeah, but now I'm leaning into my creative side, and now I'm here talking to you.
Really, really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. And let's talk about some of the tech stuffs. Now, that must come in extremely useful for doing analytics, finding out how well you're doing, tracking your performance. How does that work?
Yeah, most definitely. Um, with art, there's always this interesting balance between how much do you use data and algorithms and blah 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 to to like craft something that's going to be viral or popular or what have you. Both in terms of the music and content and marketing that you're doing and websites or like collateral that you're building for various things. Um, so there's a balance between that and then also just doing what creatively feels right to you because I mean that's the point of an artist at the end of the day is to like have an opinion about something. Um, at my last job, I worked with this incredible UX designer.
Right?
UX being user experience for those that aren't familiar. And UX is very much around creativity and design and how do things look and how do people interact with them.
Yeah.
And he said something. He was like, the point of being a designer is to have an opinion.
Hmm.
Like you don't hire me to just, do whatever is trendy. You hire me to take that and then have a perspective on how to make that better and more interesting.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, I use data to understand like what content works well
Yeah.
for my music or for my brand as an artist. What doesn't work well. I have a startup on the side, something that I'm building, and so I use data and analytics for that. But a lot of what I'm doing to understand that startup and what resonates with people is very similar to the art side, which is I pushed out this thing. Organically, it had this performance, which is better than my other content. So I'm gonna put ad money against it. And then I'm gonna analyze the ad, like how well did it do? Try it against different audiences, and just look at simple metrics like impressions, like how many people did it reach, but more importantly, like how many people took an action on
Yes.
that thing, you
Yeah.
know. So anyway, I'll stop there, but I'm happy to dive more into
Thank you.
any of those components.
No, I think it's really important in understanding what works and what doesn't really, really helps actually, and what the audience is looking for. So thank you for sharing that with us. And obviously,
Mhm.
you've been doing music for. How long have you been in the music industry and how long have you been doing this for?
Yeah. Um, One would argue, and I would be that person, that I'm not in the music industry yet, but I guess as an artist, once you put out something on Spotify, you're in it, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been doing music since I was a teenager. So
Hmm.
I'm 30, I'll be 34 next month.
Well, you don't look.
Um, and I feel old, but I'll be 34 next month. I've been writing and making music since I was 15,
Right.
but um, not taking it seriously until probably 2 or 3 years ago. No,
Okay.
let's say 2 years ago, two and a half. Um, yeah, because for a long time I just, I grew up poor, and so I didn't want to continue being like a poor, struggling artist.
Yes. Which
So
most,
when I was
unfortunately,
that,
which most of us are, unfortunately.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I decided to pursue the again, quote unquote, professional career. And I received a degree in psychology, but then went and found my world in tech and data science. And I always wrote along that path, right? But it kind of just went to the back burner. And I check in on it every couple of minutes or whatever the analogy is. It's like a mole. You kind of just make it and then you put it on the back burner.
That's it.
Um, um, Now mole, when you do that, the Mexican dish, it turns out really good. So maybe that's what my music was.
Yeah, it's got loads of flavor in it. It's been kind of sizzling on the side, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
I get you. And obviously taking music seriously. And what kind of made you change your mind and say, actually, I'm going to take this more seriously. I'm going to take this to the next level. So how did that happen, Jacob?
Yeah, it was a couple of things. Um, Before I move on, do I pronounce your name Saskia?
Yes, thank you for asking. Yes, it is.
Um, I assumed that was, I just wanted to confirm that. Okay, so Saskia, it was two things. Um, the first one was my wedding to my husband.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, thank you. That was May 2022.
Yeah,
We've been together 10 years. We've been married 3 years this year.
yeah.
And do you know Sam Smith?
I do. Yes, I know Sam
Yeah.
Smith. Well,
Personally?
personally know Sam Smith.
Okay.
Not Sam Smith, yeah. Should we say? Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so Sam Smith made this song with Labyrinth,
Yeah.
Love Goes.
Love Labyrinth as well, must say.
Love Labyrinth.
Yeah.
So talented. It's wild.
Yeah.
And there was a live at Abbey Road version of Love Goes, and it blew my mind. Such a beautiful rendition. I mean, both of them sing incredibly well. Both of them are storytellers with their voices and like how they perform songs. And it really struck me. And so um, I listened to it a couple times over and over. And then eventually, the song's about breaking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that's how love goes. You love someone intensely and then you break up because it just doesn't work.
Nothing lasts forever, does it? They say, but you never know. You could be the lucky one. You could
It
be.
could be. So
Yeah.
that's how I felt. Yeah, it's like, for me, how love goes is, you fall in love with someone that arguably you should never have fallen in love with. They're in a sticky situation and stick with them through that situation and you come out on the other side.
Been there. Yeah. Been there, done.
Yeah.
And it's painful at times as well, especially when you get it wrong,
For
unfortunately.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And even in my situation, I mean, that's part of the Love Goes story for me. Like it felt like we got it wrong. And then eventually we had our intermission, as
Yes.
we say, our 10 months of not being together. And then we come back together, right? And that's how love goes. Like,
That's beautiful.
yeah. So anyway, after having that revelation, I wrote this verse to that song.
Yeah.
Um, and then I wanted to perform it. I wanted to surprise my husband with it. And so I'm not going to say it was the only reason I proposed to him so we could have this wedding, so I could perform this song. But
Oh, this is so moving. I was not
yeah,
expecting this.
yeah. But it was a big reason. So um, I spent 12 months like planning and crafting this major performance of this song that I wrote for him to
Yeah.
surprise him with, full jazz band, choir singers.
Love it.
Um, I wrote a play
Yeah.
that leads into the song.
Yeah. Lovely.
And so it was like this whole thing. And it was just so creative. It was so collaborative. It was so like
It's also
energizing,
very meaningful as well, isn't it?
very meaningful.
Yeah.
Um, and it really just fed my soul. It just fed my soul. And it made me realize how much I need creativity in my life.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the major reason why I got back into it. I was just so enthralled by that process and in the outcome of just having everyone have this emotional response to me, sharing my vulnerability and emotion to someone I love.
Mm.
So that was it.
Oh, wow. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I would also going to say, like, being in the tech world can be kind of dry, can be the same old thing. Now, when you're in the creative industries, is that what entices you a little bit more? It's a bit more exciting, a bit more creative, a bit more stuff to do, and you're bringing stuff to the table, the forefront. Is that something
Yeah.
you enjoy doing?
Um, the being more like creative part or
Yeah.
um I mean I kind of enjoy both, to be
Okay.
completely honest. Yeah, I think I personally believe life is all about balance and equilibrium. And I don't want to just be a data scientist or a, an engineer or in tech. And I don't really just want to be an artist. Like I
Fair,
think that'd be boring.
yeah,
Um,
fair enough.
and um and part of that's the challenge is I want to be the artist, the producer, the videographer, the
Oh,
director, right? Like,
you want all the hats.
yeah, build the website, do the marketing.
Mhm.
Um, so sometimes I have to realize that I can't do it all, but yeah, I mean I do love both the more dry like coding and what, but even that can be creative, right? And interesting.
So,
Just building
very
out.
useful to have as well. Like if you can do those skills alongside your music, that's a massive benefit because you can keep all of that in house, can't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a number of times where, let's say there was like a website or a landing page I wanted,
Yeah.
and I could go pay someone, but I mean, I could do it all for free. It'll take me less than an hour, right? And I could do whatever I want.
Well done, you. I wish I could say the same because I really can't. And
Yeah.
Jake, I'm going to ask you, have you had a musical education or is this purely a passion that's kind of brought you into the music industry?
Yeah. Let's say purely a passion. I mean, I've sought out some education along the way, but never a formal thing. It's more like, Coursera or YouTube for the most part, YouTube University.
Okay, because that's all keeping costs down as well, right? And as long as you're understanding how it operates, how the music industry operates, who those main players are, that can also be a massive benefit as well to your career. So how long
Yeah.
have you actively been doing the music stuff and bringing that out now and, you know, being yourself to the world, being vulnerable and bringing that music out?
Um, about 3 years now,
Okay.
2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
And how have you found that?
It's been interesting. Yeah, it's been very interesting. So, I mean, how much time do we have?
Got 35
Uh,
minutes and we've got to keep it short and sweet, so not too long.
Okay. Okay. Those are good constraints. Creativity comes through constraints. So,
Yes.
um, how's it been? I think it's been complex first and foremost, it's been just an incredible journey to allow myself to be creative and find the space and, giving myself the permission, which is weird to say, but sometimes it feels like that,
Yes.
especially coming from, the hyper fast rat race that is the tech world. You know, sometimes productivity when you're an artist is sitting down for 2 hours and you don't really do anything, but you sat there,
Yeah.
right? And you thought about stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so I've been very grateful to have this opportunity. Um, it's also been interesting, right? Like I'm more exposed to the ins and outs of what it actually means to be an artist. And on one hand, I have a lot of respect for people that make it as an artist
Yeah.
because it does take a lot of work. Like most people that last in the industry, it's not just on a whim and it's not just because they blew up off one song. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it because to be at that level, you always have to stay relevant. You always have to be like doing the next thing and stay a couple steps ahead. And there's some people in the Seattle area that I know of that are just so incredible at that. Um, and it feels like everyone else is just trying to keep up with them. Um, so that's been cool to see. And then, but also there's the other side of it all just kind of feels fake.
A lot of it is though. That's the
A
thing.
lot of it is though.
I've figured that out myself, and it's like Sasuke, I am actually quite original and authentic, but not everything is as authentic and as original as it should be.
Yeah.
I struggle with that at times.
Yeah. Are you an artist?
I'm an artist myself, yes, but I haven't brought any music out just yet. I'm kind of building up the background stuff first before I bring
Yeah.
out music. So I've got a following and a fan base and people that know what I'm about. So I can obviously bring stuff to the table that's fresh and new. But it's also
Yeah.
being established and getting my name out there and staying consistent is also
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. In the social media world, I mean, I've seen a couple of cases where this happens. Like, and, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, but some people like they build that following, but then when they start promoting music, the following doesn't know you for the music, and
Right.
so it doesn't like convert in the way that we thought it would. Like that kind of happened to me as well.
Wow.
Uh, so it's such a tricky thing. I mean, at the end of the day, like you're selling a product, right? It's so hard to people that know how to sell are people you want to have around because everything's selling, right? Especially in the music biz.
Yeah. And how do you find representation as well? And obviously, you're in the States. Do you see a lot of visibility, a lot of representation, especially for the LGBT community? How's that doing?
I mean, best new artist, Chappell Roan, right?
Hey, shout out to Chapel.
Best rap album, Doechii,
Yes.
my
LGBTQ, one of my
bisexual
favorites.
sisters.
Yes.
Um, uh, I mean, in hip hop, I mean, but with that being said, you don't see a lot of gay rappers,
Right. Exactly.
right? Um, in So, I mean, the short answer is no. I mean, the short answer is no. Like, I don't see a lot of representation.
Or should we
Go
say
ahead.
openly gay? Because some people might be and they just might not disclose it. So we've also got that issue, right? Because some people in that rap game are, but they just don't disclose.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think I mean, that's unfortunate, right? Because there's so much. I mean, I know a lot of gay people that love rap, right? They love hip
I
hop.
love I love rap myself. I love rap. People would never think that really, but
Yeah.
it's kind of something when I listen to it, it's kind of quite rebellious, but it also stands
Mm,
out, kind
mhm.
of, and it kind of, and sometimes when I'm especially listening to rap, I kind of can relate to certain bits and pieces in the music where it keeps me going. It's kind of like, a kind of an anthem sometimes. It's just, keep going. It's not always easy, but you can get somewhere kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
relate to a lot of it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, hip hop is founded on um, empowerment and a little bit of rebellion and like fighting the system and also just, being comfortable with who you are and finding pride in that, right? And so I think it's natural for the queer community or any sort of marginalized community to find connection with hip hop because that's what it's founded in, right? Um, um, but yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, we're starting to see more and more acceptance, but there's still I'm still waiting, and maybe it's me. I mean, who knows, right? But I'm still waiting for the gay rapper
Yeah.
who who's at the level of the Grammys, who's an openly gay rapper, right? And there isn't any sort of appeasement or compromise that needs to happen. They don't need to be like, no, Tyler the Creator is one of my favorite artists, and he
Shout
made me, yeah, and bisexual people, I'm all here for you and what have you. But I feel like there's been a couple of times where it's felt like maybe they are gay, but they have to say they're bisexual because it's like more
accepting, accepted, shall we say?
accepted. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, they're not fully gay. They still like women, right? So they can still rap about that. And sometimes, yeah, that's a little discouraging because, like, well, I'm fully gay,
Mm,
but do I have to be bisexual to be accepted as an artist?
no, of course not. And this is part of it, I think, it's that commercialization of music but also appealing to the masses. And I think sometimes people make compromises based on what the masses want and what they need and their self, you know.
Yeah. 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 And obviously it's more complex, and I don't know Tyler, the creator, like that. So whatever but as just like a viewer and a person that's um trying
So
to find representation, that's kind of what goes through my mind sometimes.
I get that as well, you know, for the trans community as well. I'm a trans woman, so I don't see much trans visibility and representation. And if we do, it's often misrepresentation, you know, not in the right ways or not always how it should be, which is
Yeah.
also frustrating at times. So
Yeah.
what challenges and barriers have you faced accessing the music and entertainment industries and just being yourself?
Yeah. I haven't really faced any explicit barriers.
Okay, brilliant.
Um, then again, I mean, there may have been instances where like because I am gay, I didn't get a spot somewhere, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, there's always a question of is it because I'm gay or just because I don't have the massive audience or I don't have all the music yet or they just don't like my sound. I mean, there's always like those questions. But yeah, I mean, explicitly, no one's ever it's never been a one-to-one connection of like I didn't or there's a barrier because I am queer. Um, Now I think there's been like weird instances where um it would have made sense for me to be part of something as a queer person, but then non-queer people were put in that position instead. And so it just makes me like question their actual motives in terms of um, that organization, which it's not worth like diving into, but those sorts of things also continue to make me realize like there is some gap between what people say in terms of them trying to be inclusive and what they're actually practicing. And part of it may just be they don't have the connections to queer artists for them to put them in the spotlight when they're like crafting these lineups or these shows for Pride or like for queer people. Right. So yeah, anyway,
It's okay.
did that answer your question?
Thank you very, very much. And what would you like to see improve in the next few years? If there's something that we could do right or we could do better, what is that one thing you would like to see?
Mm. Um, how do I put this? The lack of a better phrase, for people to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, oh, I totally agree on that one.
You
Yes,
know
there's
what I'm saying?
box exercises, isn't there? And a lot of people, there's a lot of should we say pink washing and LGBT washing, and yeah, we'll support Pride for once in the year rather
Yeah,
than throughout the whole year. You know, I
yeah,
totally that, and I see that quite
yeah,
often. Do you
yeah.
find Prides are quite inclusive and they're quite representative when you go along, or you go to apply to play at some of those events? How have you found that part of it?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, like for example, for LGBT artists, especially, like, are you finding that when you're going to apply for live gigs and venues, that you're getting treated well, you're getting accepted? The lineup seem to be diverse and representative. Are you happy with that?
Um, for the most part, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like Seattle is known for being having a very high queer population.
Yeah,
But in all of these Seattle festivals, like what percentage of queer artists are actually on that lineup?
exactly.
So there, I mean, I'm a data scientist. There is a correlation, like there is a disconnect there, right? If in this city you have one of the highest populations of queer people and yet your lineups don't reflect that. And queer people um tend to make up a lot of the creative population as well, right? So um that goes back to like put your money where your mouth is, right? If this city is all about inclusivity and these festivals and these venues echo that, then give spotlight to queer people, right? Or yeah. And again, I don't know the ins and outs of what they're working with, but in terms of my experience, there's definitely been a couple of times where, yeah, there was a dissonance between what was being said and what was being put into practice. Um, but again, I mean, I've never had a negative experience.
Brilliant. That's what I
So,
love. I love to hear that. And I'm also going to say, because you're from a multicultural background, just like I am over in the States and I'm in London, do you think that sometimes cultural and age differences and religion even sometimes comes into play when some of these factors are coming out and we're trying to get that representation?
um, I mean, I'd be naive to say that it doesn't. Now, to what magnitude, I don't know. I think it depends on the person. Um, and I mean, I would like to believe that in Seattle there's less of that, but I, again, I don't think it's an explicit thing. I mean, as humans, we all have implicit biases, right? And so the the challenge becomes when we leave those implicit biases unchecked and like misunderstood and we're not aware of them.
Yeah.
And so, but to answer your question directly, like somebody's religious beliefs, their age, the culture that they grew up in, the way they um or various characteristics of their culture will always influence how they perceive people, especially if they aren't aware of that.
Yes, 100%. And obviously, America's gone through a massive political change. Do you think the LGBT rights are rolling back? Are they improving? What's going on? Fill us in, Jacob. Tell us more.
Do I even need to answer that? I mean, I think it's clear. Um, so um, so the short answer is not yet. Now, and I'm speaking for like as a queer man, not yet. Um, you know, my trans brothers and sisters and people legally, as far as I know, not yet, but you know, this the signs have been more around trying to erase trans people, which is definitely not the direction that we want to go, and is definitely just indicative of how the administration sees LGBTQ people in general. Um, and some would argue that it's only how they see trans people, but at the same time, you know, the way you treat one person is indicative of how you're going to treat other people,
Actually?
right? And it's only a matter of time before um, your target moves to something else. And part of it is, you know, that's just, I mean, that's kind of their MO, that they're being the obvious person in the administration. Um, that's their MO. They need targets. I mean, they don't really care about they don't care about people, they care about themselves, right? And so they're going to use targets and whoever is the latest scapegoat to to you know sensationalize what they're doing and make it seem like they're making some sort of progress. When I mean at the end of the day, you know, the latest stat that I recall is trans people in the US make like 1% of the population.
Here as well. So we're literally less than a percentage over here too, and we just went through the same as what you're going through now, because we had the Tory government with Boris Johnson. He was exactly the same with trans rights, exactly the same. So we've just got now got Keir Starmer, but not much has changed, So we've kind of gone through it already over here, which is
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, to spend so much energy on on such a small percentage of the population when there's so many bigger problems to solve.
exactly. So many more important topics to discuss and deal with rather than just a very small minority of the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it would be so much easier to be like just treat everyone equally. I don't know. I don't get it.
That's definitely how I treat people anyway, in the hope that, other people will do the same. But I
Yeah,
wouldn't impose my views or my thoughts on anyone else or ask them to be like that. I just do it because it's generally how I treat people anyway. At the end,
right.
we're just human beings. Forget about the tags and the labels. We're all human. And
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. And we're all different. So
yeah,
and I just hope other people can see that too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we've got 5 more minutes left. Time has really flown by. How can the listeners connect with you? Tell us a little bit more about the music you have coming out. And is there any major wins or successes you'd like to share with us before you go?
Wow. Okay. Connect with me. So pretty active on Instagram
Yeah.
at the.jhenry, THEE.JHENRY. Um, Although lately it's been a lot, but I'm still on there because as an artist, it feels like you have to be. Um, and so yeah, if anyone's listening, they feel compelled to reach out, you want to chat, connect, you're an artist, you want to collaborate on something, I'm definitely open to have a conversation with most people. Um, and the new music coming out. So my last album was about love, and it was trying to understand myself in my journey as a human and and self-growth through my relationship with my husband, my romantic relationships. Um, and so now I'm challenging myself to write more about other things outside of love, even though that tends to be like my core muse. I'm writing a lot more about kind of other people's experiences, so challenging me to put myself in somebody else's shoes and write a song about that. As well as, I was just in South Africa in Botswana while all this stuff in the US was starting to happen. And yeah, it really just compelled me to write about um similarities and differences between people and like how even though some people want us divided, like we're stronger together, and that's everything else is a distraction, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all part of this ecosystem called life and called the universe, and we all play a part, and we're all important in that part. And the more we get away from that, I think the more we're going to struggle. And so, really, just trying to center myself back into that mentality. And then big wins. I mean, I don't have any like traditionally big wins right now. Oh, that's not true. I was accepted to speak at South by Southwest.
Oh, that's amazing news. Oh, well done. Congratulations. Next year, I hope I will be speaking now. I've been saying that for the last three now. Come on, Seth.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
let me know. I know some folks, or maybe we could do a panel together. That'd be dope.
I'd love that. 100%. Yeah. So when's that?
So South by Southwest is the 7th through the 15th in Austin. I'll be speaking on that Tuesday. I can't remember which day that is. So whatever the Tuesday is of the 7th through the 15th. And I'll be doing a lightning talk. So it's on how ChatGPT or the similarities between hip hop sampling and ChatGPT.
Okay. Very
Should be
interesting. And that's a big point at the moment, isn't it? AI. It's been a massive talking point for the music industry at the moment.
massive. Yeah. So I think I think there's a lot of creativity that comes from technological advances. And at first there's a struggle with any tech thing. There's always a struggle, but eventually creative people specifically start to unlock how to use it and really push the boundaries of art.
100%. I love that. Well, massive congratulations for the talk. Hope it all goes well. I will be sharing your links and the descriptions. Is there anywhere people can listen to your music as well before we go?
Yeah, if you go to thejhenry.com,
Yes.
I have links to all Apple Music, SoundCloud, if you're on that, Spotify, and what have you. So that's probably the easiest way. But otherwise, on Apple Music, Spotify, you can search J. Henry, And then I'm the person with the yellow beanie. Surprisingly, there's a lot of J.Henrys. Who knew?
Well, we'll make sure you get the links there so all the listeners could come and listen to you. Please do support the work that Jacob's doing. And Jacob, have you got anything coming out soon? Any music coming out soon?
I'll have some singles coming out. Yeah, I'm working on finishing those as we speak.
Okay, well, let us know when that is, and I'll try and tie this in with one of your releases. Fingers
Okay.
crossed. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you ever so much, and we'll speak again soon.
All right. Thank you, Saskia.
Thank you.